welcome to Royally Unhinged, the podcast where we talk all things marketing, networking, and wizardry. It's all the things that you need to know and some of the things that you didn't know you needed to know. I am one of your co-hosts, Tara B, with my other co-host,
Princess Paula.
And together we are Royally Unhinged. So today we are here with someone super amazing that both Paula and
Where are we?
Oh, we're at the Woodbury Expo.
We're in our backyard.
We're at the Woodbury Expo at Woodbury High School for the Woodbury
That's
Area
where we
Chamber
are.
of Commerce Community Expo. And we are here with Miss Amber with Board Brush of Woodbury.
One half
everyone.
of the dynamic duo.
One
Yes.
half. Pat's at the booth, so
Sorry,
And,
Pat had to man the booth today, so we don't get to see him.
that's okay.
It's really fun being here. So if you hear things in the background or see things, it's super fun because this is an annual event. These guys have been here many times, but this is an amazing community event, and there's hundreds of people
Sure.
here right now
Yeah.
watching us live
So if we
Just
wave
going.
just randomly, it's because we see somebody, right?
Yes.
in person.
Yeah.
So thanks for taking the time today, and thanks. We'll have to
Yeah.
go by and say thanks to Pat
Yeah.
for manning the
This isn't his
for
space, so he was.
manning the booth.
There you go.
So
I love
That
it.
just reminded me when you had all those catchy phrases when you were trying to.
that's what I do.
That's it.
Awesome.
Okay, so this is really fun always to figure out how we know people and how we get connected because we're huge networkers. I love networking. And it's always fun to kind of do the 6 degrees, right, of like how we know people.
Yeah.
So I think I knew her first, right?
Yes.
I think
Maybe like
so.
the
I
contest.
think you guys knew from Woodbury Chamber or something like that.
Oh, wait, no, you
Yeah.
found me.
Yeah, I vividly remember we were on our way up north somewhere in the car, and I was flipping through my Facebook, and I saw Mr. and Mrs. Claus, and it was
Oh,
our
yeah.
first year of Board and Brush, so it was like maybe October time. I was like, oh, stop the presses, Pat. I'm like, this is perfect.
If you have kids watching this, turn away.
Oh, yeah. Because Santa is real, but Santa also has helpers.
Yes.
Helpers.
So that's when I pinged her, and she got right back to me, and I thought it'd be an amazing opportunity for Mr. and Mrs. Claus to come to our studio with a fun little workshop for kids in regards to some little make and take cookie projects for Santa Claus. So
Yeah.
that's how we started our relationship, I guess. So
That's how it all started. And then you guys connected that way. And then it was after a Women in Business for the Cottage
Correct.
Grove Chamber. You reached out to me to talk social media stuff and whatever. So
Yep.
Board and Brush is a local franchise, if you guys didn't know. So Amber reached out, we kind of connected, and I was like, nope, I gotta shoot you over to Paula.
Right, Roger
And they
that.
already knew each other, so it just like, it worked out that way.
yeah.
Well, and here's what's really cool. So once upon a time, long ago, in a land far away, when I went down, I used to live in North Carolina, and I went down to visit my friend, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, and I made a sign. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever, but I figured it was only something that was in the South. So when you called us in to do Santa and Mrs. Claus, and I just walked into your studio, and it's like, I was like, what is this place, and where are we? So I was super excited that
yeah.
we had one
Yeah.
over yonder. So, okay, we've said it a million times. We keep saying Board and Brush, Board and Brush. It's on her shirt. It is Board and Brush. So,
That's your new theme song that you can
There
use
you go.
on your-
there you go. I do write theme
Copyrighted, hurry
songs,
up.
just so you know if you need a theme song. So that's yours. Board
heard
and
it here
Brush,
first, guys.
Board and Brush.
Yep.
So are we talking surfboards? I mean, what are we, hairbrushes? What are we
is
talking
Board and
about
Brush?
here?
Board and Brush is, in essence, for simplicity purposes, a DIY art studio. But it's more than that. It's a 2-hour workshop, really from raw wood to end product, where you get to facilitate through an instructor from cradle to grave how you can finish a project. So from picking your stencil before you walk in to choosing your stain and paint color when you arrive, and then just really having a fun time with it, whether it's with yourself or with other people that you came in, and then you'll feel accomplished at the end of the workshop.
And making what kind of things? Like what kind of...
Our projects honestly range from everything from every holiday or even minor holiday to like bridal events, kids themes, any kind of like family type themes. We do try to dabble in like some kind of DIY kind of trendy things as well. So we kind of are all over the board, honestly, in regards. We have over 500 stencils. So really, honestly,
there's so many to choose from.
Okay, and we're gonna dial this in a little bit. So again, I'm always going with like lowest common denominator, like myself, understanding what they're talking about. So all kinds of projects, like I've seen, this is what I say. So if you want any kind of cute, cool signage at your house, think the fun signs out front, outside of your house, against your mailbox, inside your house, on the wall, in the living room,
Even
on
like
the deck,
little
by the
boxes,
pool.
like planters and stuff too.
Yep.
Like you can get those too.
Planters. I've seen you guys have done doormats. I've seen cornhole games. I've seen you really have to go to the website to see the options, because it's like basically if you can make it out of wood, then you can stencil it and paint it.
Yeah.
Super, super fun. So how did you fall into this? Because I'm sure you didn't wake up one day and go, I want to own a franchise.
Exactly.
Or maybe you did.
I was actually a customer. So I had been there two or three times before. And in October of 2022, I went there with my neighborhood girlfriends, and we were just having a good time. And at the end of the workshop, the previous owner had just indicated she was selling, and if they knew anyone that was interested.
Okay.
There's Taekwondo
They're
going
celebrating
right behind us right now.
It's random yells in this podcast. If you're not watching and you're listening to this, we have a karate demonstration going on in the background. We are off the rails. I can't wait to see if this gets picked up in the podcast.
I have no idea, but it's going to be fun.
Oh my God. So we are literally live. We are recording live.
I thought they were
the
cheering for
Woodbury.
me. I was like, yes.
Yes,
They are.
go, Amber.
Yeah! Board Brush! Yeah, okay, sorry.
So when we left the workshop, I had just kind of recapped to my husband what we had talked about, and I was like, oh yeah, by the way, the studio is going up for sale, otherwise they have to close. And so my husband, God bless him, is more of an entrepreneur. And so we talked about it, and really within 48 hours, we reached out to the owner.
That quick?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's kind of our MO too, is pretty spontaneous. But yeah, we went and visited him that Sunday, and the rest is history. So yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who are watching, obviously you see Amber here in the studio with us, and her husband, again, is manning their booth at this event. These two are adorable. I'm so glad to hear this story, because they have such a cool relationship. They're truly friends and partners and support each other wonderfully. And I'm so glad to see that he knows happy wife, happy life.
Actually, it was the flip on that one. That is true. But he's the one that wanted to, and I was like, we have full-time jobs, we have children in sports, we have all these things, but he said, I love to throw parties, and I said, I trust you, and then that's when we went for it. So
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's but this is even a level up from just should we buy a car?
Yeah.
This is, should we buy a business?
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But we believed in it that much. The story really, it is just a place to have fun, and that's what we love to do. I don't think people they don't celebrate life enough, whether it's a little milestone or a big milestone like a bridal party or a birthday party.
That.
It's just the ability to allow yourself to have 2-3 hours with whomever, even if it's yourself or whomever you bring.
And you guys do bachelor parties too, bachelorette parties and stuff like that. We just, for the ambassadors for the Cottage Grove Chamber, we just had a little bonding event over there as well.
Yep.
It was just a nighttime thing. And here's some of the thing that's really cool too. It's BYOB. So
Yeah.
you bring your own drinks, you bring your own
Bring your own board.
Yeah,
And brush and booze.
board, brush, and booze. That's it right there.
Yeah, it's a really nice addition, because then you're already spending money to come there, but we allow you to bring your own booze or bring your own beverage.
Yeah.
So it just is another luxury, or a small appetizer too, so you can just really kind of have a little shindig with your friends and enjoy your time there.
And it's super fun now, because people are having, they're having, I know someone that they're like, we're going to have my shower there. My husband brought his whole team for a team building.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I would say depending on the time of year, for sure. Like our number one is our public workshops. So you can go by yourself or have a plethora of your friends. But depending on the time of year, like right now, bridal showers are really big just because summer and fall weddings.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of the time frame there. But then kids' birthday parties are maybe more right after the holidays because they don't really have a place outside yet because of our lovely Minnesota winters. And then usually around October to December is like the team building or corporate event. So it kind of does the secular what have you. But our public workshops are all year round. We have our very traditional Friday night is probably our staple every Friday, unless a private workshop were to trump that. But
wait, every Friday night is like an open night. You can just like a drop in.
Nope, you do have to register because we want to know what stencil we have.
Yeah, they have to like get the stuff prepared for you and whatever.
Right, but we have a workshop every Friday. We try to change the time up a little just to accommodate different people, but it's usually 5:30 or somewhere between 5:30 and 6:30. So either 5:30 to 8:30, 6 to 9, or 6:30 to 9:30. It's a 3-hour workshop. So yeah.
And a thing I really, really like is that you don't have to be handy. Like you don't have to be someone that knows how to use.
You do not have to be creative. You basically the stencil's just like it does it for you.
Or like know how to use tools. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't have to be handy.
So I wanted to mention that too. So it's not just you and Pat that do like the kids are involved too.
Yeah.
Because your son was working there
good.
when we had our event there, and so adorable. Love him, by the way.
Thank you.
But it was like it's not just them doing it. It's they bring in their family, and I love the family business aspect.
Yeah, it's
of
like
things too.
I say like a non-traditional family-owned business in that sense, where I think traditional family-owned business is really kind of like all in, hard to. But Pat and I do the majority, but we wanted to make sure our boys get a good experience with it, and we don't want them to be tainted by because they were only 13 and 15 when we bought the business. So we really didn't want to overwhelm them with making them work galore and what have you. But as they've gotten older or as they've gotten antiquated with it, they definitely now run workshops, help with some of the wood and stencil behind the scenes. So it's been a great experience for them.
That's awesome.
Okay, we have to make sure we cannot skip over, like as we're just like chatty talking, and we cannot skip over the fact that you said the two of you have full-time jobs that you work. So full-time parents, full-time jobs, and you're running this business like in your spare time.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
It is, but when you're passionate, if you've always heard those people say, if you're passionate about something, you find time. And I truly feel like the number one thing I wanted to come into this was being authentically us. I didn't want to portray it as being a business where we're trying to get money and what have you. I really want to be part of the community. I really want to make connections with our customers. I really want to understand why people are coming in so we can help improve that experience, or what can we do to help with that. So that's really been our mission on that, is just really to help people celebrate their lives. So to your point about having full-time jobs, that can be trying at times because of course we want to continue to grow and expand, but we do obviously have to be mindful of our day jobs. But again, our children have been involved to help with us, and just really being authentic to what makes sense with our time has helped us do that. So yeah.
And how many times am I going to touch Tara today? Touching me, touching you. Okay, so because this all day there's just
I just feel like I have to.
I kind of like want to jump up and
We should have had like the kung fu fighting.
So Tara had mentioned just yesterday that she has 2, 3, 5 million businesses, and now you guys in your house have a lot of businesses, and I think this is really good because people need to know you can do it. It's not necessarily easy. It's going to take work. It's a hustle, but for maybe someone who's thinking about starting a business or taking on something else, it can be done.
Correct.
With the right partner and the right mindset. If you're listening, you can't see me pointing.
Unagi. That's a Friends reference if anyone knows.
I would definitely say that you need to find your right trying to blank.
Like people, like community
support system or what have you, because like Pat and I work amazing together as business partners, where I'm more the front end and the customer service and these kind of things, where Pat enjoys more analyzing numbers and making sure the inventory works and all those things. And it really helps spotlight maybe what we're good at. So it's been a really good partnership with that, where maybe if you hear like a husband and wife, that could be a little tricky, right? But it's worked out. I'm not saying there hasn't been challenges, but it's for the most part worked out in regards to, we kind of know when he needs to step up or when I need to, step up or vice versa.
That's so interesting, because it's really okay. Work-life balance. Do you think there is a balance?
Yes.
Do you actually, though? Is it always balanced? It's not always balanced.
Okay, but oh my gosh, we just went to a recent women's event. Poor Tara hates sitting beside me because I touch her. Here, I'll come over here and touch Amber for a bit. Then I'll just like touch everybody, weirdo creeper. We were just at a recent women's event and they talked about work-life balance and doesn't exist, and I love it because there was a gal at our table who said, it does, but you got to think of like a scale that can move back and forth.
Yeah.
And sometimes one side is up and a little heavier, and then sometimes the other side. So it balances, but it's not about balancing.
It's not
it back.
ever level.
It's about it being able to balance up and down.
It's a teeter-totter.
Well, yeah, but with a teeter-totter, there's always someone who's stuck up in the air.
Not if you're the same
farmer.
Oh, okay, good point. Yeah.
But I would also say, though, that maybe the tipping point or what have you is when you're doing maybe business, but it's fun, like this, right?
Yeah.
We're networking or we're getting to publicize maybe the joy of what we're doing, but at the same time, we're having fun with it, or, so it's, I feel like if you can find that passion, and it's not always easy, I understand that, but that will help balance it a little bit too, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, one of the things we do is the family helps stencil sometimes. So we'll literally sit around the table, the four of us, and we use it as a time to talk about, our days or what have you. So even though, we're maybe not healthy work-life balance per se, but we are making it a commitment to our family time as well. So we have to be creative, but I think there can be kind of that maybe unhealthy balance, but if you can spin it in a way where it maybe would help.
Okay, I'm going to push back on that. Not on you.
Okay, yeah, no.
On the world. Because there are times where people will say to me, Paula, don't you ever relax? Don't you ever rest?
I get that all the time.
That is fun for me. Like when I get to paint a room or build something or do something, it is relaxing for me. I don't enjoy just sitting in front of the TV all the time doing that. So I love that you're saying your family will sit around and do the stencils together because it's enjoyable. It's like doing a puzzle. What's the difference between doing a puzzle together and doing that?
Yeah. No, for sure. And I feel like a lot of people tell me that too. Like, oh my gosh, do you ever just like sit down? And it really recharges me when I go meet people for coffee or I go to lunch. I admit I'm running around a lot, but that's what charges me. And sometimes I definitely have to be intentional with the recharge at home, for sure. I mean, I'm human, but everyone's different how
everyone is different.
Their battery is charged, right? And
your bread and butter is not going to be the same as the next person's bread and butter, and Ferraris and DeLoreans and
cars,
things. Okay, I want to take a little bit of a right turn. It's still related, but we're gonna go there because we're gonna go there. And right now, Amber's like, "Where's Paula going?"
What? I don't even know.
Watch my reaction.
We recently did an episode on franchises.
Oh, we did.
And what it's
I was
like
just editing it like a couple
to
days
be,
ago.
have a franchise and do it. And so, Board and Brush is a franchise. Tell us, what do you love? What's challenging? Kind of, you knew it going into it.
What's your love-hate of the franchise?
Yeah.
If you're allowed to say. Maybe she's not allowed to say.
No, I would definitely say the love is the ease that I hear other small business owners that are not a franchise. They have to recreate the wheel, or they have to create all these marketing things or ideas, when I can really bounce off of other studios or what the corporate office has created. So that's definitely a plus. We've gotten substantially better because we can kind of deviate from those corporate marketing things a little bit to make it our own local feel, because I understand that can be a big deciding factor. Some people don't want to see the canned marketing pictures all the time. They want to see, hey, I know them, or hey, I saw Paula at the class, I want to go to that. It's relatable, I guess, in other words. I would say the downside is not every studio is created equal, so sometimes the challenge of really understanding how Studio A works versus Studio B, or you guys bring up BYOB. Some studios have to have a liquor license. In other states
Really?
don't. So we have the option of buying one, but it's just not within our budget at this time, or we feel like maybe ever. So there's just a lot of variance with that, and so sometimes I think franchises maybe just don't quite understand that variance. So that can be a little tricky. I'm trying to.
Oh, sorry, very exciting.
Wood just flew
I think
into
they just
the
broke
crowd.
a board.
Yeah, a piece of wood just got broken and
that
went
was,
flying. That was careful
was
in the
dangerous.
crowd. That was. The wood being broken by the karate demonstration, not by
It's not
Board and
Board and
Brush
Brush's wood.
studio. Their wood is always secure.
Yeah, that does
when
not
you go
happen.
in.
High quality wood right
They
there.
have,
We may have a
tools.
side come loose. That's why when we hammer or make little divots, we try to be careful, but not actual kung fu.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just saw. You couldn't see it, but we just saw pieces
It
of wood
just
go
flew.
flying into the
you
crowd.
might be able to see it on a little bit on my
See a
camera.
little-
I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, that was interesting. Anyways,
Okay, and we've talked about that before on our podcast. Like I said, we've talked about franchises and the good part, but just the frustration and the limitation at times,
Sure.
where
Yeah.
it's just like, here's what you are and aren't allowed to do, and does it make sense for the area that you live in?
that was the main focus. Is like, because what corporate is telling you could be something that's really focused on East Coast, West Coast, and something
Right.
like that, not necessarily in the Midwest.
Yeah.
So it's not always going to be the best option for you, and it's not always going to align with your goals that you have for your business specifically.
Yeah.
And that
Some
sucks.
studios have a major success with kids. Some have a community where there's no kids, right? That would be a great example too, right? So it's just not everyone's created equal, and
Yeah.
I think franchises maybe limitate that a little bit.
What advice would you give? Like, if there was someone who's considering a franchise, and again, I know every franchise is different. Don't come at me.
Yes,
they're not all created equal. But knowing now what you know, if I was going to say, I'm thinking about buying a franchise, what things would you say to me? Like, what questions should I ask or be aware of? Or
Sure. I think I can confidently say, because I don't know, again, going back to why my husband wanted to buy this, I think we would have ran a very different business, and I'm saying I give him credit for us having the mindset we do today, because I see a lot of times now, looking through the lens of a franchise or just a business owner, you really have to know both the product or the service you're doing and a business mind. I think a lot of people going into it are passionate about their project or their service without really understanding the business mindset. And I think that is a huge differentiator between your success or not. Because you can love, let's say in my case, painting projects, but you also have to make sure you're mindful of your budget, your expenses, in that
Yeah.
sense. So just really having both sides of the fence on that, I think, is crucial to running a business. And I see a lot of people having the passion more than having the business mind.
Truth.
okay, so you and your husband both work full time. Then you have this side hustle in your spare time. When do you guys find time for each other, or is running this business?
Is that
like-
your each other time?
We're really good about being intentional with, that's why we are aligned so well with our vision, like celebrating the small stuff. So we do like to, like shoot off for a weekend and go. It doesn't have to be extravagant, but just like my husband travels for work. So I'll go like this week, I'm going to go Wednesday night and spend 2 days there.
Oh,
work,
nice.
And then take Friday off, right? So we kind of try to mix our professional job with a board and brush potentially, as well as like our personal time as well. So, but you have to be pretty intentional.
So true.
Yeah.
Or you could just have a date night at Board and Brush. You could go
Ooh.
there for. But so here's the thing, also, and we've talked about this before. So full disclosure, I've had the privilege and the honor of working with Board and Brush as clients. So I've kind of gotten to see behind the curtain a little bit and what it's like trying to run a franchise, to do all the things. So one of the things, though, is let's talk about your calendar and people coming in. So you mentioned already about Friday nights, a pseudo kind of like drop-in, but people still have to register so you know who's coming. How does it work? Like, if somebody wants to come to the studio, what do they do? Like,
Right.
what's the process? What's the process?
The process.
So I would say that's probably the biggest struggle for us as a business owner as well as our clients, because what happens is you register online just for whatever. We make a calendar. We try to make 6 weeks out. But in essence, you pick one of those time slots that works for you and your friend or family member. And a lot of times that one day, what Paul is kind of alluding to, doesn't potentially work for you because it's a specific day and a specific time. It's not a drop-in whenever you want, because it is an instructor-led class or workshop. So really having the mindset of trying to, herd the cats in regards to what date and time works is a little tricky for both, again, us trying to market that as well as the consumer or the client finding a time that works for them and their circle of friends. So
oh, come on, where to go?
I have something that I want to add in. So when we did our Cottage Grove Ambassador thing, I was going through there's so many choices that you can choose.
Really
there's so many. There's like dog focused one. There's like home focused one. There's like just animal. Like there's so many different ones that you can choose from. So I was having the hardest time picking one. I was like, I have no idea. I don't know where I want to put it. I don't know. So what I did, and this might be just a fun idea for like if you are planning on a date night or whatever you want to do, but I just gave the phone to my husband and I just had him choose one. So I had no idea what I was walking into.
Oh, really? Oh, that's fun.
So, like, I got there and he picked a box and he had one of the kids' names on it and stuff like that. And it was like, it looked like my Norwegian heritage sort of influenced a little bit. So it was really cool.
Awesome.
I had no idea what I was doing, but it was fun. So if you want a date night tip, just like choose each other's and like go and like you just don't know. You go and just you're surprised.
To tag onto that, however, flip side,
I thought she was gonna hit me again.
I will not hit her. So you let your husband pick yours.
Yes.
True story. We went for the ambassador night. We went to Board and Brush. We had a whole ambassador thing. I had picked out my sign. I was making my sign.
That's right. I know what you're going to say.
I get home that night. And by this point, my husband had already decided, because I told him, this place is amazing. It's awesome. It'd be great for team building. So he had already booked a time to bring his whole team, his whole department from work and do a team building. So he had already picked out his project to do like a week or two later. So I get home with my sign and I'm like, honey, look at my sign. Now, to Tara's earlier point, there's an obscene amount there's like hundreds of things to choose from.
So the chances,
every kind of project you can imagine, every kind of pattern. I walk into the house with my sign and go, honey, look at my sign. And he goes, I picked the exact same one. So I said, you have to change yours.
I got an email like 5 minutes later.
And
it was awesome.
Wait, the continuation of the story. So, because it was like a pool sign for our pool, there's another idea for you. So I said, you have to go in and change yours. So oh, bless his heart. So he changed his.
I haven't heard this.
So he came home with his project, and it was a round circle that he painted, and he wanted to make a sign for his mom. I love this man. He wanted to make a sign for his mom. And it was just like a round circle, and her name is Shar, so it has like a big C in it, and just says Shar. Like it was so, like he brought it home, and I was like, oh, honey, it felt like when your kid comes home from school with their like project, you're like, well, isn't that nice? I'll put it in my special cupboard. So he goes, nah, I don't love it. Or so, fast forward to this past weekend, and we were celebrating my in-laws' birthday, and they're over for dinner, and we're doing cake and presents, and all of a sudden Matt's like, hold on a minute. I go, oh, what is flying? And my husband's like, hold on a second. And he runs into the other room, and he comes out with his sign. He's like, here, Mom, I made this for you. And everyone's just kind of staring.
Like, you what?
Okay, this is no indication of what the projects are gorgeous and they're wonderful. He went into this project not really knowing what he was doing. But when you show up at Board and Brush, they will help. Well, you'll already know. You have to pick your project before you go.
Yes.
Yeah. that is the one thing we get some feedback on in regards to there's so many projects. So especially a first-time user, a first-time customer, I really just try to encourage, like, think of something that you want in your house, whether it be any major holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween. Those are Halloween and Christmas are two big ones. But if you're thinking something else, like a family or a porch sign, like, try to narrow down that versus just looking all through, because there's probably
that's good.
15 different categories, and then within the categories, there's
so
depending
many
on
choices.
again, Christmas has like 100, but
and to be fair, I just want to make sure it was my husband's not artsy, craftsy, creative, so it was still great, and his mother, bless her heart, loved it. Already sent a photo of it up in the wall in her house.
He said she hung it up when we were standing.
Absolutely.
So
it's up there, but yeah. You will not run out of choices or options. And with every stencil, with every sign, you can customize it by color, by texture, by stain. So the possibilities.
Oh, and the stains, that blue teal stain, that grayish blue teal. I think that's what you did your sign.
It's called BB Blend. Yeah.
I love that color.
That's probably the most popular now. The traditional, we have 8 stain colors, so that's the other thing. I think the biggest disclaimer is that people think they have to have it exactly like when they register, they see it.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. You certainly can do that, but we actually encourage you to come in with an open mind, because you can pick your stain. That's the first thing. There's, like I said, 8 stains. And then from there you can pick any color. And we have over 100
Love that.
pink
they
colors
have a giant
too, so.
wall of all of these colors that you can choose from, and the workers just come around with their little cart.
Yep.
It's such a beautiful studio. It's such a beautiful
It's
studio.
really
you guys
nice.
have.
Thank you.
Before we wrap things up today, I'm going to ask you a question that we're asking all of our guests today. And so, a really good friend of mine, Carrie Cook, love you, Carrie, shout out to you. She recently put a post out on LinkedIn, which was phenomenal, and it said, WTF. But it was for willingness to fail, not what people might think. Willingness to fail. So, I want you to tell us about a time that you failed and what lessons you learned from it. Because I think this is really important, that we all have to understand failing is okay. You have to have the willingness to fail, and what have you learned?
And it can be a personal or business or both.
I think it's actually a really good example of why I'm here today. So I think back in October of 23, when I reached out to Mrs. Claus to book an event, the event unfortunately wasn't as robust as we were hoping. Again, going back to that one moment in time and a date and a time for people, but I wouldn't be sitting here today meeting both of you if I hadn't reached out to Mrs. Claus. So just really being curious, I think, could sometimes not go as expected, but I think if it's meant to be, it'll give you the path of where you're supposed to go. And I really think it 9 times out of 10 has worked for me, just being curious and meeting people. And I've met so many amazing people in the 2.5 years I've owned this, that some of my closest friends through business have been meeting amazing people, mostly women, but people that I've just reached out to, or that we've happened to connect through some way, shape, or form. So I think sometimes failure can be a beautiful thing, because it really teaches you. I love that. Yeah.
I love that. I kind of want to cry, because as you're sitting here talking, I'm thinking about, so both Tara and I are the co-chairs for the ambassador committee for the Cottage Grove Area Chamber. And we had a meeting this week. And when we sat there, we were reflecting on when we did our ambassador day at Board Brush. We had our party, and we were going around the table asking for feedback. What did everyone think? What's the feedback? And not only was the feedback fantastic, which as I'm sitting here, I'm realizing I should share that with you, but several of the people there said, I'm going to have a shower. I'm planning on booking a shower. I'm doing this. And I sat there and went, that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Like, that is truly how business works and what business is about.
Absolutely.
Is you meet someone, and you might think, like when you reached out to me, you thought, oh, they're going to be Santa and Mrs. Claus. You had no idea that someday you were going to be on our podcast.
You never know what's going to happen.
I had no idea who Princess Paula was. Didn't know Chamber of Commerce Cottage Grove. This was all so new to me. So it's just being curious and not being afraid to fail. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've grown through that. And even talking with my boys, not to go down a rant, but just showing them the good, bad, and sometimes the ugly that happens when you put yourself out there.
Yes.
There's a reason it happens, whether it's to learn something or to have a beautiful experience, what have you. So
this is why I always say, take the coffee meeting.
Yeah.
Take the coffee meeting.
Just take
the coffee meeting. Too often when I talk to people and they say, oh, well, so-and-so reached out. Well, I don't know why I would meet with them. They're not going to buy my thing, or I don't. Take the coffee meeting. You have no idea what's around the corner and where that meeting's going to lead. And too often in our heads, we go, oh, I'm like thinking through all this and deciding where the value is. You have no idea. Today we had it. Poor Tara. She hates sitting beside me because I'm just like, what? She has bruises on this side of her body. But it was so cool because we did an earlier podcast today, and just all the things we found out about Matt that we didn't know before.
Yeah.
And so having you here today, now that we know you and how we just keep sharing about Board and Brush to others and having all these connections.
I think the last thing I want to say is I just really think it's been such a beautiful experience, again, in the 2.5 years that I've met so many women-owned businesses, or people that want to do more, be more, that I think you sharing your story helps you as a person, but it also can help the next person. I think just knowing you're not alone, knowing that there are failures, knowing you don't have to be perfect. It's not even really fun to be perfect, right?
Love that.
The imperfections are what make you you and what make it fun, right? It's just, you're like, oh, I didn't know that. You bonded that way, or you're like, oh, I did that too. And so it's been fun.
I love it.
How do people find you and get hold of you?
This camera. How do people find you?
So the thing I say, because I'm not really good at directions, I'll be the first to admit, nor art, but I own an art studio, is we are by Eaglewood Golf Course next to Farrell's and Trang Truck Chinese food, as well as
Woodbury.
A bank in Woodbury.
By Angelina's.
By Angelina's, Bridgman's, that little
Woodbury,
pod
Minnesota.
of area. Yeah, Woodbury and... Oh my gosh.
I'm saying this because you also ship, and we have listeners all over.
Correct.
So
yes, we do. We have can also order online if you're really that adamant you're not an artist, or if you just don't have the time, we can make it for you. Or there's make and takes you can bring home for your family. So there's plenty of opportunity. Just give us a shout. Try the website, and we'll go from there.
Is it boardandbrush.com/Woodbury?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Boardandbrush.com if that's all you can remember, and you can find Woodbury or /Woodbury. Yep.
Yeah.
And so if people want to just come by for an open class, or if they want to schedule a fun party or something for their team, or a date night or whatever.
Anything you want to celebrate, you should contact us. We have something for you.
And we'll have their contact info down in the description too. If you're
Awesome.
Spotify Apple Podcasts, YouTube, whatever it is, we'll have their info down there too, so you can just click on that.
Love that. Thanks so much for supporting the podcast and sharing some of your story today.
Yeah.
And just know, if you're watching and listening, well, obviously you are, because if you hear me right now, then you are.
Then you're listening.
You know what? Be like Pat and Amber, and just take that step. Go for it.
Take that leap.
Do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, when we're either talking to some cool person or telling you the things you need to know that you didn't know you needed to know. I'm one of your co-hosts, Princess Paula.
I'm Tara B.
And together, we are
Royally Unhinged.
Doop-a-doo.